Everyone wants to make a living doing what they love the most, although not many actually do. We sat down with local guitarist and songwriter Dave McGrath to see what it's like turning a passion for music into a career.
I started playing music when I was probably about 7, 8 years old. My parents got me a little acoustic guitar when I was just a kid, and I remember taking it up to my room and trying to figure out how to tune it and noodle around on it a little bit, and I think that guitar is still around actually. I didn't have a lot of bands in high school. There just wasn't a lot of musicians in my school, so I primarily played in my free time by myself. I was into sports at the time and outdoor activities, so it wasn't the primary focus of my life at the time. It was just something I enjoyed doing on the side, and then the older I got, the more important it got in my life. Dad yelling to turn that damn thing down, so I remember those nights well. Moved out to Seattle, Washington after college and worked on Mount Rainier National Park for a summer. After that I moved down into the city and met a bunch of musicians, actually some from the upstate New York area. We started a band and started recording and performing around the Seattle area, and worked hard at that for a long time. And then after moving back here to Rochester about 10 years ago, I was working for Frontier Telephone and got laid off, so I decided to try and book some solo gigs, and it turned out that I could make a living doing this in the area, and so it just kind of became my job out of necessity, I guess. It's made me a happy person. It's great to have a job that you enjoy and that you can be creative and have fun with, and feel like you're making the world a little bit of a better place.
Since Dave writes his own music, we asked him about his writing and practicing habits.
I like writing songs. I just kind of noodle whenever something comes to mind and put it together in a song, and just wait for it to come, I guess. Life experiences, dreams, some of them are heartbreaks, and some of them are a little more introspective, maybe a little mystical. Most recently wrote a song called Just Bones, and the premise of the song was that none of this is going to matter much when we're just bones, so it kind of put things in perspective to me, for me, about day-to-day troubles or worries, and how to kind of put them in perspective, I guess. Sometimes I'll do some scales and exercises. Other times I'll just sit down and play some songs, learn a new song. Guitar is a difficult instrument to play. It's tough on your fingers, and the instrument, it can be moody as far as keeping it in tune, and it's a challenge. I constantly try to improve and get better every day. I've been in several full bands where I played electric primarily, but now lately doing more solo and duo shows, I play mostly acoustic these days. I also play tambourine with my foot. I guess that qualifies as a second instrument.
Putting on shows is how Dave earns his living, so we talked with him about the different types of shows he's done, as well as the prep work that goes into them.
Don't spend a lot of time thinking about the gig as far as putting together a set list. I like to get on stage and just kind of feel the audience and see what the room feels like before I decide what I'm going to play. I do provide my own sound system most of the time, which I leave in the back of my truck because I use it every day. So I just show up to a gig. I don't take very long to set up. I have a pretty small system, so I'm able to come in, and within a half hour I'm up and playing, and it's a pretty easy system to get up and going. I host a couple open mics around town, Monday nights at Sully's Brickyard Pub and Tuesdays at TC Hooligans in Webster. And I play an average of 5 shows a week in the winter, and sometimes as many as 8 or 10 in the summer. Since I play so many times a week, some people come to several shows a week. I try and put on a different show every night and not repeat songs too often. So my performances are as much for me, selfishly I guess, as they are for the audience, so I tend to play what I like. If people have a request and I know the song, even if it's not one of my favorites, I'll play it for them if they're having a good time and being nice. Oh, I've done some gigs out west, out in fields on the back of semi-truck flatbeds. I've played on paddle boats. I've played a lot of gigs. It's hard to remember them all. Some of the more memorable shows I've done were out west. We did one in Seattle during the Gulf War. It was kind of a peace protest, and I remember playing a song I had written called No More War. The people in the audience just spontaneously joined hands and created a great big circle in this park, and I'll never forget that moment. It was pretty cool. Most recently I got to open for Billy Currington at the Main Street Armory. There was a great crowd there. That was a great show. I love seeing people enjoy the music that I'm making, if they're dancing or singing along or just smiling. It's kind of a reciprocal feeling that you get when you're making music. The crowd makes you happy and you make the crowd happy, and it just goes round and round. I would like to travel. That's always been a dream of mine, is be able to use music to see more of the world.
Dave hopes to help others find their musical roots so they can enjoy it as much as he does.
I love teaching kids to play music. I really enjoy seeing kids get into it and how much they enjoy it. I remember how much I loved it as a kid and how fascinated I was with equipment and pedals and stuff like that. So I get a big kick out of it. Anybody that comes along that has a question, I'm always happy to chat with them about it. It's a great way to enjoy your free time, and I've never met anybody that regretted learning to play music, but I've met a lot of people that regret not picking it up at an earlier age. And I tell them it's never too late, so grab a guitar and start playing.